This video follows up on the first range names video, so you should watch it first if you haven't already done so. One potential drawback to range names is that they act as absolute references, so formulas don't always copy the way you would like them to. Here's what I mean. Remember that there is a sum formula for units sold in column F. I will copy this sum formula to the revenue column. But that's not right. It's still the sum of units sold. To get it right, I must instead enter the formula directly so that it references the revenue range name. Note that the formulas for revenue in column F still use cell addresses. But now I'm going to illustrate something that might surprise you. I will first use the Apply Names option under Define Name dropdown to apply the units sold and unit price range names to all formulas where they appear. Now look at any revenue formula. Each one is units sold times unit price. But these range names refer to whole columns. So how does it know that the top revenue is the top units sold times the top unit price, or that the third revenue is the third unit sold times the third unit price? Let's just say that Excel is quite smart about such names. When it shows that a given revenue is units sold times unit price, it means to use the cells from these two named ranges that are in the same row as the formula. This is a bit tricky, but this is the way Excel works. It's always a good idea to document your work by listing range names used in some unused area of a worksheet. This is easy. Select a cell where the list should start, and then select Paste Names from the Use in Formula drop-down list. However, be aware that this is a static list. If you add, delete, or change any range names, you'll have to recreate the list. One last property of range names is scope. This is a fairly complex topic, so I would discuss it only briefly here. You can learn more about scope from online help or web searches. The issue centers around multiple uses of the same name for ranges in different worksheets of a workbook. For example, suppose you have 2 or more worksheets with a profit cell. I will use the name box to name a cell profit in the first worksheet. Then I will try to do the same thing in the second worksheet. Instead of creating the new range name, I am taken back to the profit cell in the first worksheet. The concept of scope provides a way out of this situation. A range name can have workbook level scope or worksheet level scope. When I create the profit name in the first worksheet, this range name gets workbook level scope by default, and only one instance of the profit name can have workbook level scope. However, each worksheet can have the range name profit with worksheet level scope. The easiest way to create a range name with worksheet level scope is to do it through the Name Manager dialog box. I will do this for range names in Sheet 2 and Sheet 3, each time choosing the appropriate sheet for the scope. Now the Name Manager shows the 3 profit range names for this workbook, along with their scopes. Now I will enter the values 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 in the three profit cells. Next, I will enter the formula equals profit in cell D1 of the last four worksheets. I'll do this quickly by selecting each of the worksheets and entering the formula. As you can see, the results are 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 1,000. The reason is that a worksheet level range name trumps the others in its own worksheet. That's why 2,000 and 3,000 appear in sheets 2 and 3. But the workbook level range name trumps otherwise. It's 1,000 in sheet 1 and in sheet 4. So be aware that you can use the same range names in multiple worksheets of a single workbook, but you have to use worksheet level scope for some of them. The use of range names can be a controversial topic. At one extreme, some users refuse to use range names because it takes too much time and they can be tricky to work with. At the other extreme, some users don't want to see any cell references in formulas. They want to see only range names. You should probably be between these two extremes. The Create from Selection shortcut allows you to create most, if not all, of the range names you need quickly and easily. Then your formulas that use range names will undoubtedly be easier to read. But you can overdo it. Certainly not every data cell or range needs to be range named. The best policy is to use discretion.